Okay, everybody, welcome back to a third video in a row. Uh, we're just trucking along here, aren't we? Um, First of all, a couple of things. I think I've said this at the beginning of my channel, probably the first or second video. You might hear a slight, low noise in the background. Uh, that's my wife's iPad. She's laying down uh, in the bed, which isn't far from here, and she has it on low, but the mic still picks it up a little bit. Now I could, put some music softly down there and stuff, but I don't think it's really needed. And no one really complains, really. Everyone likes the videos the way they are. Pretty much, raw, off the cuff. But um, I don't want to. This video might be the last one for a little while because people in the chat room got a lot. They've got a lot on their plate going on. Um, and I got two videos out. That they got to watch what they got. Like I said, they got their own studying. A lot of them are taking Hack the Box or Try Hack Me and Over the Wire, and or they're in college. They're taking cybersecurity or information security in college. And so it's not like everyone has all day to devote to just learning. Like they all got lives, and but so this one will give you guys uh enough about me. The last like 10 videos or 9, whatever it is, have pretty much been about my background, how I got in it. Because I'm both. I'm just as much a legal hacker when I first started out. That was 10 years, and that went up to about 2006, 2007, right in that area. Um, as I am an ethical hacker, or for the good side, you could say. I wouldn't say ethical, but for the good side. And that went from 2006, 7 all the way up to where we are today, pretty much. And I was an independent security researcher. That was the title I gave myself because that's what I was. I was independent. I do my own research and I just sell my information, um, not to whoever wants it. I'm picky. I don't sell it to just anybody. But you know, I won't get into that because unless you're getting into exactly what I'm doing, and I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one doing my work. There's other people that are doing the same thing. Um, I will mention the scam baiters. Well, as you can see, this is the title from the video. This is from a ex hacker's point of view. A lot of people want my insights on things, and I'll get into some other stuff that people were talking about. About speaking of ethics, the ethics of hacking. You know, the scam baiters. You know, is that ethical? Yeah. Okay, granted, yes, they're hacking in to scammers that are taking old people's money, you know, and as much of it they can get, 10, 20, 30, 60, 100,000, whatever, whatever they can get. And they're laughing about it, And is that ethical? Yes, it's still legal. You're not, according to the act, you're not supposed to break into computer systems that you're not authorized to break into. So under the law, technically what they're doing is illegal. But, there's always that gray line. And that's even with the government and authorities. How do you walk that gray line, no matter who you are? You know, you're going to have that, good versus evil. But where that versus is the VS part, there's a gray line there. And just how wide is that gray line? You know, for one person it might be very, very thin, but for another person, it might be like a cavern. So it all depends on your point of view on that gray line between good and evil and how wide that is. But Like I said, that might be a video or not. We'll see. But this one here is about me because I can only talk about me. You know, like I said, I don't talk about what I've done. You know, on a consultant basis with any DoD subcontractor company or anything, because I've actually worked for I'll just say a few of them. Don't need an exact number, but it's not many, but it's a few. Um, and a lot of people say, well, what do you do? Well, I'm going to get into that. But first, about these videos of mine, people, I've gotten some, you know, notifications from the YouTubers, that watch my video. They don't subscribe. They don't come. Obviously, you can see from my video a view count. I've only got like about 100 people in a Discord chat. And I got thousand. I don't know, probably pushing 6,000 views already in 1 month. So you can see that a vast majority of the people aren't in the Discord. The people in the Discord are basically the serious people. These people are pretty much already started their path in cybersecurity, and they're either taking courses online or Udemy or Skillshare, or they're taking courses in college of pen testing, information security, or cybersecurity, or something like that. And the YouTube people are just here. They come across here for the entertainment to listen. I guess my videos are something different to listen to than the TV, because a lot of my viewers are older people too. Like 40 and older and stuff. There are some young people though, but they're raw. And so I put up a poll right here. Should I start providing graphics animations to better understand the material? If you watched my last video on ARP, which was a combination of stuff, but ARP was the focus because uh, network is going to be important. And I'm going to show you guys here how important networking is, and fully understanding networking, because there's stuff that goes on in a network that a lot of ethical hackers don't know about. And why do they not know about that? Because this is out in the wild. This is out in the internet. This is in the ISPs networks. And that's plural. That's T-Mobile, AT&T, that's all of them. This is out there. And technically, nobody has a business being out there except them, except the people that own that network. But you'd be surprised how many people there are out there. There's foreign state nations out there. We're talking Russia, China, North Korea, Vietnam, India. You know, they're for a nomad's land. It's kind of popular. But for the most part, yeah, if you're out there, it's illegal because you got no business. You got really no business to be out there. But it's a small battleground between good and evil. You know, and this is why I said that I probably won't be with the scam baiters. The ones that are hacking the scammers from India and stuff and everything, because me and them just aren't on the same track. We were brought up in security on different sides of the railroad track, and it just it just doesn't fit in my opinion. But anyway, as far as the look of the videos, I know people have been asking and everything, and this is not me making it up. I told you guys in my videos, everything comes from the chat members because they're the ones that are really supporting the channel. Um, you can see right there. Should I start doing graphics and animation and everything? No. They want memorization and concentration is better. In other words, listening to me explain it. So they have to focus on listening to me talking and explaining it to them, and they'll picture it in their mind, and that's where their memory is. They listen to me explain it to them as they picture it in their mind on what's going on, whatever I'm explaining and everything, and that way it gets in their head and they can recall it later on. It's in there. They've thought about it already. They visualized it and everything, and they can recall something. And so 70 to 30%. I guess this was a 24-hour poll, and there's 11 hours left. But you can, as you can see, it's pretty much self-explanatory. That's pretty much where that's going to be the vote. Pretty much is no. So we can get done with that and go. Where are we going? Oh, right here. I got a whole bunch of stuff up here. I got Chat GPT, Nano Baiter. He's a scam baiter. That's a scammer channel. Nano Baiter. Sample capture. That's for the class. AWS products. And that's for my service that I'm going to be starting in my Discord. Okay. Purchase and download. So, okay. Yeah, that's a purchase. Yeah. Oh, and that brings up another thing that some people have asked me. Cracked software. Okay, guys, I don't your children. Okay, it, if you haven't passed that phase, uh, you that's for someone like me, that's a total waste of my time. I buy all my software. I got no problem buying my software or anything, and cracking software, yes, I could crack software very easy. It doesn't really matter what software it is. But that's the point of the whole thing. There is absolutely no challenge in it. None whatsoever. And I'm not going to tell you guys what I charge for my services, but I can tell you it's pretty high in the three-digit area per hour. So for me to spend my time to crack a software that's, who knows, $20, $50, $150, whatever it is. It's just a waste of my time. My time is better spent somewhere else. It's the same reason that the shareholders of a corporation purchase a $45 million jet, private jet, for the CEO of the company, especially for a multinational company. A corporation that's got offices both overseas and in the States or North America, both. And he has to make trips across the Atlantic back and forth, or Pacific, either way. Um, because of the amount of money he's making, millions of dollars a year. Could be 10 million, 15 million a year, whatever. Plus, you got to add his bonuses and incentives and everything like that and everything. And you break that down to an hourly pay, he's making a shit ton of money per hour. And for him to have to fly commercial or even first class, the company is just burning money basically, because there's layovers and stuff. You might get stuck, 4, 5, 6 hours in an airport, or you might get there have to have a layover for a day or 2 days even, because of whatever, who knows, weather, whatever, and that adds up to a lot of money over the year. So they want their $15 million a year salary CEO to be able to just leave the office, go into the tarmac at the airport, step in his plane, go overseas, do his business, and do the same and come back and not waste any time at all. Because, as I say in almost every video I make, time is money. Time is more valuable than any amount of money, because money's replaceable. You can always get more money. You're not going to get more time. The time that I've taken up with you guys right now to just watch this video, how far are we into this? Like 15 minutes or whatever? You're 15 minutes closer to your death, to be blunt and raw about it, because every second that ticks off that clock is getting you closer, and you're not going to get it back. So, yeah, time, you have no clue at all about how valuable time is. You just take it for granted. But with that, let's get serious now, as if that wasn't serious. What do I get into? Well, I told you guys that I volunteer my services for a nonprofit organization called Trace Labs, and you can search on that. It's just an organization that helps find missing people, normally children, teenagers, and stuff that end up missing and everything. And this could relate to that. What I'm going to show you now. You guys don't know how yet, but this is the strange and mysterious world of cybersecurity, if you want to, because this does fall under cybersecurity. Um, Jaguar Tooth campaign. You can see how I searched on it. Jaguar Tooth in quotes because I wanted that together. I wanted that to be not separate. I'm not searching on Jaguar and Tooth and campaign. No, I'm searching on Jaguar Tooth campaign, and Google knows exactly what I'm looking for. And and that can get more advanced. Like I said, I can get into Google Docs with you, which we will be doing late further on in the course. But you can see APT28 exploring old flaw to install Jaguar Tooth malware, and this is in a Cisco iOS router. Don't need to know the brand. You guys, it's meaningless to all you beginners and everything starting out right now. The iOS XE, Cisco's got a whole bunch of routers, and there just amount of this, there's the same amount of number of switches from different companies and stuff and everything like that. And again, that's further down the road to get into vulnerabilities and stuff in that. And yes, there's vulnerabilities. What is a router after all? A router is a device that has software on it. And anything that has software on it is vulnerable. Anything. Even the watch you're wearing. If it's an Apple Watch or something like that, or a computerized watch, if it tells you that if it's digitized and everything like that, it's vulnerable. But APT28, when you get into cybersecurity, you're going to have to know these. APT is Advanced Persistent Threat. And, there's all kinds of numbers, but there's also names. The numbers, APT28 comes from a specific security firm, as with all the other ones. Each one of them has their own naming convention to name malware and groups, criminal groups and stuff and everything. They got their own titling system, own naming system and everything for both and everything. And that's kind of what distinguishes them apart when you see them in the news and everything. But I'll show you in a minute who that is, because this here router thing, yes, it exploits a router and it's vulnerable and you can read up on it and everything, but that's not my point. This vulnerability ended up being connected with human trafficking. Now, in an indirect way, because human trafficking groups, if you will, found out about this campaign, this vulnerability, and yes, they do human trafficking crime organizations, if you will, or whatever you want label you want to put on them. Um, everybody, the drug cartels, everyone, they all follow security because it's an avenue to get somewhere, to do something, to put someone to blackmail someone, to get money from someone, and everything. Don't think the Indians are alone, or Indian people are alone over in India doing scams, tech support scams. These things are being done all over the world, particularly in certain countries, but all over. And you'll see that in a minute also. But this is the things that I get into. See, you can tell that I haven't clicked on any of these here yet, because this is my area of domain. I already know all this. But I'm showing it for you guys. And this is the kind of stuff you're gonna get into. It's like a homicide detective, like I told you before. You know, you're going to be getting into seeing mutilated bodies. Bodies that are literally taken. Arms and legs separated, heads separated, And you're gonna see some foul stuff. When you get into being a homicide detective and everything, and it's no different when you get into intelligence, when you get into cybersecurity, into the area that I'm in, you know, because I'm because I'm independent. I get involved with the stuff that no one else wants to get involved with, and that includes the government. But they do need information about it. They just don't want to do it themselves. So they will hire this stuff out very secretively because if I get caught, they don't want anything coming back to them. If I get caught, I'm on my own. And the less people from the government, the less people that do know about my, it's too late. I got to go to bed. The less people that do know about me, the better it is, because it's hard enough to keep secrets as it is, as Edward Snowden has proven that. So, yes, cops wouldn't know. Local cops, stuff like that. So if I get caught, someone turns, if something happens or anything, and I get caught, you know, I'm just a normal person, that, script kiddie, if you will. If they got caught hacking, and everything, and no, ain't no different. Government's going to deny knowing. Oh yeah, we don't know. Never heard of the guy. Yeah, he's got a record. He got a felony. I don't know, from back in 1980s or something. But other than that, yeah, we've never heard of him. But and welcome to this world. This is how this world works. But they do need people like me, and for not only in cybersecurity. I'm sure, you know, yes, movies are fake and everything, but there's some realism to them a little bit to a certain point. But when you see Rambo and what was that movie? Predator. Where Arnold Schwarzenegger and his team, was a highly classified special forces, secret special forces team, and everything. They do have them, as we know from Desert Storm and all of that stuff and everything. But and Rainbow Six, all that. But they do have groups like that because they need them, you know. So the services are needed by the government and DoD and stuff like that, but they also need complete plausible deniability if something goes wrong, you know, because it just looks bad when the government you know finds themselves caught up in something like that with a foreign nation, Russia, China, whoever. It's just not a good look. But without me keep going on it, I keep doing that because I just want to stress to people, this is not something anyone should be doing. This is, when you are, I hate using this word, but when you do reach what, the media, let's say, calls an elite hacker, you know, when you get to this level, this is when you should be doing stuff like this. And at no other point but this point, because it's just an area that you don't, pardon my French, but you don't fuck around in unless you absolutely 100% totally know and believe what you're doing and you know it fully. There is nothing that's going to surprise you, nothing you can't do, any problem that comes along. You know how to quickly solve it as quickly as possible and, get the hell out of the system, network, whatever it is you're in. And that's all I'm going to say on that, really. But yeah, this led, to the human trafficking thing, which is my domain. My domain is, like I said, human trafficking, sex exploitation, um, whistleblowers, protecting whistleblowers and stuff like that. Investigative journalists, or investigative journalists are going overseas, into Iran, Iraq, wherever, getting a story, and everything, and they got to carry a laptop with them and their phone and other stuff. They need security when they're in these places, because they're the information that that they're getting and collecting could get them killed, when they're over there. So yeah, security is vitally important to them when they're as I say, in the belly of the beast. You know, so this is the kind of stuff that I get involved in with my knowledge that I've had over the many years that I've been doing this since 1996. But this one, yeah, this vulnerability led to that, and I found it by reversing it because I track, like I said, I track human trafficking, and I found a piece of malware and started looking into it and tracking it down, and this and that and the other, and it led to someone, which led me to someone else, and obviously these people didn't know that I found about, I'm in their computer. They don't know. I'm in their laptop or, phone or whatever I'm in and stuff. And I find out, information about them and everything. And I keep tracking them until I get to an endpoint. Well, one of those endpoints led me to this vulnerability. And that led me to how they were using it. And, you know, this is how the rabbit hole goes. As a researcher, sometimes you stumble onto something that seems innocent, okay, yeah, this looks boring. Nothing is boring. When you're doing this and you're looking at stuff, you got to read everything. You got to think about it as you're reading it, and you got to look at it at a different. Don't look at it for what it actually is. Look at it for what it could be, or what it might be, or how can this be something else, or relate to something else. Look at it as a rap song. Is someone using a metaphor in this? To try to hide a message in it somehow. You know, read a couple sentences and ask yourself, how many different ways can this be looked at? Does it really have multiple meanings to it or what? And if you think it does, then go down that rabbit hole, and that's where Obsidian comes in, because you can write your notes out like an investigative journalist. You can write all your notes out and everything. Use Obsidian's linking strategy to link to it and everything. And you can, once you got done all that legwork and all that time and typing and putting in all that information and everything, and it's done properly and everything, the graph will show you the patterns. And let's take a look at that real quick. From the yesterday's video, you guys aren't going to see anything secretive, and if that's what you want, you can stop watching my videos. Period, because you're not going to find any elite you know information or documents. I'm not going to show you anything that you're not supposed to see. And even on my graph, all the stuff that I'm showing you on my graph is you can find on the internet if you search for it. So there's nothing secret about it, even though it looks secretive and all that stuff and everything. It's really not. It's just information that I started out for my students. They know what this document is and and stuff like that. But for the rest of the YouTube people that watch my videos that aren't part of the Discord or part of subscribing and stuff, which will eventually end up on Patreon, you guys wouldn't know about this. But here we are in the city, and like I said, I think I did import a couple more notes. And they're not documents in Obsidian, they're notes, and files are called vaults. So this is my cybersec journey vault, which is the name of my YouTube channel, and everything in here has to deal with my cybersec journey channel that you're on right now watching this, and all the training and all the stuff I'm going to be doing here and putting up and all that stuff, and that's what I use this vault for. But I did take some stuff that I just got done talking about and brought it over here into this to show you guys this graph and how things start at the beginning when you start building something out and how it grows from that point. So there's going to be a little bit of stuff, a few more added things from yesterday's video in here that weren't on here yesterday. So let's take a look. And there we go. You can see everything starting to brand compared to yesterday. Yesterday it was like a half moon. There wasn't as much stuff, and there was like a little continuation going around like this in a half moon. Now we see this breaking out. We see this little thing breaking out over here on its own, and this one here. And see, you can see right there, that's the human traffic one. And these down here are still kind of like just, coming together slowly. But, as all of this stuff grows, as more and more and more and more folders get put in and more document and everything, this here also will grow. But you can see the things that I started right here in the human trafficking. And these are the countries that are mainly known for being heavily involved in human trafficking or forced labor or organ removal. And yes, organ removal, that is a thing. There's actually abbreviations for them if you want to search for them. Um, like I said, this is a whole information thing, and a lot of it's online. You know, uh, written about mainly by investigative journalists, and sometimes the government and everything, and organizations that uh, investigate this. They put out reports and stuff, PDFs and stuff, and also. But this is where you start to, and to learn about it and investigate it and everything, and then from you got to take that information, the public information. This is what makes you different as a researcher. You take the information that's public and you start going out on your own and using Google Dorks, Chat GPT, um, college library, any place you can dig up information on anything that's ever been written about whatever you're researching. In this case, it would be human trafficking. And you build out your graph, you build out your Obsidian file or whatever program you choose to use, and you build that out and build that out until it gets to a point to where the graph is big enough and everything to where it really shows you information that you can start parsing out even further. And that's all it is you're not going down a rabbit hole like you normally would on Google by just searching, because the graph is giving you, it's separating things out into groups or spheres, if you want, and it's showing you where the important stuff is to keep digging and what to ignore so you don't waste your time. And that's the benefit of Obsidian, really. But yeah, for these particular things that I just told you, there's HTSE, HTFL, and HTRO, which obviously, the HT in all of them is human trafficking. Then the SE is sex exploitation. The FL is forced labor. And naturally, the RO is removal of organs. So those are the acronyms that you can search for on those. And and these, once you get into these categories, you can go down deep and deeper into those. Then you can start going down deeper. Oh, I lost deeper into these. Each individual country if you want. But you can see right here. I'll name it off. Like I said, this is on the web. This is nothing ultra secret NSA, information that that only I know or someone or something. It's out there on Google if you know where to look. But the organizations that these mainly come from, are China, Nigeria, Russia, India, and Brazil, and Mexico, and Thailand. And social media is really big. It's and if you got daughters or even sons, but daughters mainly because they're the number one uh, target, if you will, for because sex trafficking, sex exploitation is the biggest market of this, as I'm sure you could have figured out on your own. But the Philippines and Vietnam, and then these branch off, into their own little cells on and everything because human trafficking has a path. There's different stages of it as it goes along, and it's mainly for anonymity. Keep people hidden, keep them out of the view of the public, and all that stuff. Prisoners, basically. But that's all this video was going. It needs to be, and I didn't want it to be very long, but like I said, like you've seen from the voting, my people like my videos and the insight and stuff, and you don't really find this on YouTube anywhere because no one's talking about it. Um, And again, for the fact that YouTube's let me get away with this much, well, it hasn't really let me get away with anything, to be honest. So I wouldn't be shocked about that either, because like I said, all of the stuff that I've talked to you guys about already in all of my videos is nothing really ultra secretive or sensitive or anything. All of this stuff can be found on the internet. You just got to know how to search. You got to know how to dig in, because if you don't, then yeah, you're going to go down a rabbit hole. So, but with that, guys, it's late here, and that's all I wanted to say on this. I have no idea when the next video will be out or what topic it will be, but we will see. I hope you enjoyed the trip so far as it is, and like I said, I'm going to give my students a break and everything from the videos so they can focus on the two, well, and this one, if they want to look into this particular thing and ask questions in the Discord if they want to. And but it gives them the time to check into this something. This is the kind of training and stuff they won't get in a course or a college course or anything. They're not going to talk about this anything related to this stuff like this. It's just going to be the normal old boring foundational training, going through the books, teaching you, routers, switches, and this and that, the terminal and that. All don't, granted, all of it, you need all of that. So, not putting that down. But, people get bored after a while, they're like, I want something. And that's what my channel's here for. My channel's not here to teach you cybersecurity. It's just to hear as an alternative source of information, a different perspective, if you will, into the world of cybersecurity, and where some job paths and stuff can lead you if you get a chance to be in them. Not everyone gets a chance to take the path that I did in cybersecurity, but if you do, um, these are the kind of weird things that you could possibly get into. You know, if you get into working, with a DoD contractor, or even the government. If the FBI hires you or the NSA hires you directly, or Department of Defense hire, and everything, you know, you're definitely not going to be getting into boring work. Trust me on that. So, but just remember, I told you, I don't like calling myself elite hacker, but just remember, if you're not and you don't consider yourself one, the government won't hire you, because they want the Tom Brady's, they want the Michael Jordans, they want the people, for one, that have belief in themselves, that believe they are the best at what they do. That's the first. That's the first hurdle to get over. The second hurdle to get over is you literally actually have to be that. If you think you're the best and everything, well, there's got to be some way that they know that you are, without you telling them. They're like, look, you don't have to tell us how good you are. Trust us, we're the government. We know how good you are. And that's the two major things you need to get in, at this level of the government. If you want to get into the government, as a receptionist, or a desk clerk, or working, inside at a desk or something like that. Yes, I understand hackers work at a desk too, but you know what I mean. Yeah, you can walk in the front door and apply. Maybe you get hired, maybe you won't. It all depends. Who knows? But yeah, at the higher level, for the more highly skilled technical stuff like this and everything, no, they only want the best, and the people that believe they're the best at doing it, and really nothing else. Nothing else is acceptable, because of the kind of work that you're doing, the kind of adversaries you're going to be going up against, and all that stuff. That's why, that's why they particularly look for people like that, because the work isn't easy, and it takes it takes someone that can solve problems, really difficult problems at a quick rate. Because if you're not a fast thinker and a fast problem solver, that's bad. that's that's not good. So with that, guys, I will. Well, first of all, hope you enjoyed the video. got something out of it, do some searching and Googling and stuff. Look at what you can find. Um, you might stumble onto the human trafficking from searching on Jaguar, but I doubt it. You're probably not that good at Google searching yet or Google Dorks, so I doubt you'll find that rabbit hole. But no doubt you'll learn stuff. That's for sure. If you get involved and you start and you spend an hour or two doing it, you'll come across some stuff. But with that, guys, we'll see you next time. Okay, guys, wait a minute. Don't go yet. Don't click on that X yet. There was something I wanted to show you guys that I forgot about until the last minute. About the APT 28. Uh, some of you might not recognize this. This is my Excel sheet when I first got into attributing malware to foreign actors, foreign nations, and stuff like that, and malware groups that I started years ago, back like early 2000 and stuff. But this is has grown. It's humongous now, and it's up to date, and it's in a database. It's no longer in an Excel sheet and everything. And when I need to sift through stuff and everything, I have all my stuff is programmed by me. So I can go to my dashboard. I can choose what I want to export out, and I can bring it into Obsidian, and it'll automatically be set up and everything to fit into Obsidian. I wrote my own plugin for Obsidian to handle this import, and then I can look at the graph, on whatever particular thing I'm looking at and everything. But this is one of the benefits. This is why you also got to learn your programming. I'm going to be teaching programming, C++, JavaScript, all of it, everything, Ruby. You're going to need Ruby for Kali Linux and, writing up exploits and stuff. Python, you're going to use a proof of concept. So, yeah, all the stuff you're going to need, you know, because, like I said, the information, the amount of knowledge you guys got to learn is never ending. It's endless. And once you know it all and everything, it'll still be ongoing because cybersecurity and security in general constantly changes. Hackers are always finding new ways to break into new toys, new software, new devices, and everything. Every time something new comes out, every time Apple puts out a new iPhone, and all of that good stuff. But let's look up here. Let me put in APT 28 because that was our other topic. And like I said, nothing's going to be new here, guys. This is all, especially this information. This information is older than you guys are probably. But like I said, in my database file now, this has all been updated to current stuff. This is still there because I still want the history of it. But all the new stuff and everything has been added to it and everything. So I have a complete full picture of all countries and everything and their malware activity and their hacking and everything for like the past 24 years. So again, that's what makes me valuable, to the people that want my services and stuff is this history of information and stuff that I have. And my view on it, that's what makes me unique. It's my independent, how I personally look at it and have figured things out. That's what they want. They mainly, not the information, they mainly want my view and my opinion on it because I'm the one that's been putting all this stuff together. So I'm really involved in it, on a personal level and everything. And I know the profiling, I know the psychology of a lot of these groups and how they think and stuff. And so that's the valuable part. It's not necessarily the malware or the hacking or this information or whatever. It's my own personal knowledge of being in this space, if you will, for the past 24 years. But we hit the button here, and naturally we go to used by APT 28, a family of modular backdoors with Windows, Linux, and iOS variants, and that tells you that this is a very good organization because all your script kiddies, all your people that aren't serious and are looking for the small pittance, the small, they're looking for the low hanging fruit and stuff like that. They only know Windows. That's all they. That's the only thing they know to hack and get into and do stuff in. Linux and iOS are too complicated for them. You gotta know the terminal and you gotta know the kernel, and it's a whole lot different than Windows and everything. And this stuff doesn't there's no Active Directory. Well, similar but not the same thing. But yeah, that's what separates the men from the boys. They got malware and stuff and vulnerabilities and everything for all three operating systems. But anyway, the malware, which includes espionage functionalities like keystroke logging and file exfiltration, is typically dropped after a reconnaissance phase as secondary stage malware. So basically, they have initial malware that gets them into the system and everything, gets them a reverse shell, and now they've got control of the system. They're going to look for persistence now because they want to get in anytime they want and all that stuff. So they're going to set that up. And once all of that is set up, there's a procedure going on. There's a standard operating procedure here, SAP, that they use. After that's all set up and everything, then comes the secondary stage malware where they put in this key logging ability, file exfiltration ability, and reconnaissance. To look around and see what's available, what kind of information it has, and everything. And then they'll put in other malware to do different things. Personal identifiable information, look for credit card, all this other stuff and everything. So they got a whole operation basically going on in your network, and you have no clue. You're a huge corporation, offices all over the city or maybe all over the country, and you've just got no clue that this stuff is going on deep down in your network, and you won't know for another 2 years, 3 years, when CNN or someone puts out a news report, so and so's been hacked with ransomware, and they've been in the system for 2 years now, and no one knew about it. And yeah, and that's how stuff gets on the news. You know, old news, but it's new news. Go figure that out. But let's see what else we got in here. Again, we're in APT 28. Which is the main. And you can see it. Fancy Bear and Cozy Bear and all that stuff. And we can see that this is from Russia. And APT 28 is a Russian. Well, for this organization, the name's this. Over here we got APT 29, and we won't get into. See, you over here, Secure Works. I left the name in this one. These here I took out, but Secure Works I left in. Everything's iron within. Iron Twilight, Iron Hemlock, Hunter, like that. And iron is the country designator. And I did go over this in one of my prior videos. So this is the country designator, and this is the actual either campaign, operation, malware title, or whatever they want to use to identify what this is. Only to them. But they got Twilight, Hemlock, Hunter, and Liberty, and everything. And over here we got Russian Doll. I know these names sound, cool and all that and everything. And, we know Snake Mackerel and Grizzly, over here, Sig 40, and everything. But yeah, you can search on these if you want. Black Energy down here, Gray Energy, Iron. Over here we got Iron Viking. But this is the wonderful world of malware, guys. Welcome to it. Let's see what else we got. Oh, we got apt notes malwareconfig.com web new apt notes. Oh, is it apt28.pdf? So this is only going to a PDF download. But look at this here. Like I said, we're still in Russia. But call out by DHS and FBI as responsible for cyber attacks associated with U.S. election 2016. Allegedly attributed the first UEFI rootkit seen in the wild, LoJack 2018, overlaps with Zebra. All these are, a lot of these malware are going to overlap or cross mingle, with other malware and stuff. And because a lot of the code is stolen, a lot of it's copy and paste. You're making a piece of malware, you put in the unique vulnerability that you want, that makes this malware different, but you want it to do some other things that you already know about also. So you just copy and paste all that code into this one. And so now this one does all the old stuff that the ones you copied and pasted from and everything. But it also does this new thing too, which is what separates it apart. And when you're reverse engineering malware, this is what you got to look for. You got to look for the code that you already know is copied, and you'll be able to, because this is all you do. So when you see code and you after you reverse engineer it and you look at it and you see what it's doing and you're like, oh yeah, this is like so such and such. I've seen this before. This is old. This is something they've just copied and pasted this into here. We need to find out what this what this particular piece of malware does differently, and you keep going until you find that unique thing, and that's what you name your malware on. When you discover it and everything, and you put your own name to it because now you found out what makes it different. And it's the same way security, you know, companies use. They use the same thing. Hit my hit my keyboard with my hand. But yeah, we're pretty much done with this one. Uh, but like I said, yeah, I'm sure you guys could have been reading all this, or if you're not, you could pause it, read this if you want. A lot of interesting information and stuff. If you want to start looking around the web and everything for different things and stuff, and like I said, even though this is old, it's still information. It's still insight, into these people and these countries and stuff and how they think and everything. But with that, guys, we will see you. I don't know when. Like I said, I got my people got a lot of stuff to dig into and research and look up with these past 3 videos, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in the chat. And but anyway, we'll see you all with the next video. Hope you enjoyed this one.